everybody, this is Michelle with Creative Operation and Country Craft Creations, and I have a design team project for you. This is a real simple little project, but because Thanksgiving is next week, I thought this would be kind of a fun thing to do. So I'm just making a quick Thanksgiving journal for this year, and I'll tell you about the plan here in a second, but what I do want to show you is that we're using 49 & Market's ARToptions Spice collection, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I just absolutely love it. So I was sitting here trying to figure out what the next project was going to be, and then this morning I woke up with this great idea, and it's really simple. It won't take very long to put it together, and it'll be really useful as well. So what I'm making is a Thanksgiving kind of planner journal, whatever you want to call it, but it's going to have I got a different idea for it. Well, I think I got a different idea. I don't know. Maybe I haven't got a different idea. We'll see. But what I'm doing is I'm making 4 sections in this journal. I'm going to have like a guest section so I can write down, who's invited. If, we do a potluck for brunch. And so everybody's bringing a little something. So, I can do my RSVPs. I can see who's bringing what. I'm going to have a kind of a menu plan of what I'm making, what everybody else is making. See if there's anything that needs to be added as I get closer, for grocery shopping or whatever. I'm going to have like a to-do section. So like things like, cleaning, decorating, shopping, that kind of thing. And then I'm going to have a part for recipes. But I had enough of this paper and I kind of had an idea. So I thought, well, I'm going to just do this. And so it'll be really quick, really easy. And you can throw this together in just, probably like an hour, and then have it for next week. Okay, so I know it's coming up next week. You could also use different papers and obviously make one for, Christmas. You could do one for Thanksgiving, Easter, whatever the holiday is. And not only is it going to be like a small type planner for this year, but it also is going to be a memory album as well. Because one of the sections I'm going to use as kind of a place where I'm going to set it out with a pen, and you can have people, kind of sign it, write what they're thankful for, anything they want to put in here. And then this would be a great keepsake along with space to put pictures. So that's what I'm doing today. Again, 49 & Market. It is the ARToptions Spice collection from Country Craft Creations. Now I've already created, this is my front cover, and of course I'm going to decorate it. But the front cover will have a pocket here, so you'll be able to stick anything in here you want, extra pictures, whatever. I'm going to decorate it. I'll show you when it's all decorated, but I did make this one already. The back cover is going to be the same exact thing, so I will go through how to put that together for you. And then the binding, I wanted to talk about the binding. So I decided to use my good old-fashioned Zutter Bind It All. I don't have a cinch. I've had this forever and it works great. So you can use this, you can use a cinch, you could use just punch holes and do book rings. You could use, and I'll grab it and hopefully not knock everything over, but you can use your We Are Memory Keepers little mushroom punch here and use a disc binding system. You can bind this any way you want. It's all going to be loose pages, so whatever it is you want to use. I am going to be using these rings that are on that. Let me show you the package. This is from my stash. So basically I'm using my Bind It All, and instead of using the coils that come with it, and I do have those, I just didn't want to use them. I wanted to use these. These are made for the cinch. They were in my stash. I bought them because I wanted to play with them, and this is the first time I've actually done it. So these are metal hinge binding, and basically they're like book rings on a post. So you can use 1 or 2 of these as you want, but then they just open up and then you just bind your project with those. So that's what I'm going to be using today. So let's get started. Again, use whatever binding system you want. You could just use book rings, whatever. So we're going to have the front cover here, and then you have a pocket. And then what I did was I have some dot grid paper that I had in my stash, and this was 8.5 by 11. So I just cut it at 5.5. So the pages here are 5.5 by 8.5. And I'll show you, I'll talk about how I punch these in case you want to do it the same way I did it. So each section will have some paper to write on. And then the middle sections here, I'm just doing a piece of cardstock, and then I covered it with pattern paper front and back. My plan is to put some photo mats on these so that this also not only becomes like your planner, but it's also going to be the photo album for Thanksgiving Day. So then again, more paper. I think I did, let's see, I think there's 8 pages in here. So I used 4 sheets of 5.5 by, or excuse me, 4 sheets of 8.5 by 11, and I cut them in half. So you have 8 pages all together. The beauty of doing this system is that you can take them out and add more things in if you want to. You can do for decoration, or even take like your photographs and then punch the holes and put those in there, however you want to do this. So it's really customizable as well. So I did that section here, and then another section of papers. We have this divider here, and then another section of papers. So I'm going to show you how to make this, and then I do want to talk about the size of the dividers. So the dividers that I did make, the cardstock is Kraft cardstock from Country Craft Creations. It's the Artisan Cardstock, and I cut it at 6 by 9. And then the pattern paper to cover these particular pages here, I cut an 1/8 inch smaller, so it's 5 7/8 by 8 7/8 on both sides. So I kept it pretty simple on here. And then, so those are the inside dividers, and then you'll need 2 of the pocket pages. And then I didn't punch these pages yet because I wanted to show you how I'm doing that using this system here. So I got my papers ready to go. And then you will need a piece of artisan cardstock that is 7 by 12. I'm grabbing my scoreboard and my bone folder, and we're going to put this with the 7 at the top. We're going to score at half and at 6.5, and then I'm going to turn it and score at 9. And it's really simple to do. So we're just going to cut this out, do the pockets. So we're going to make tabs for the bottom piece, that bottom 3-inch piece. That'll be just a pocket that folds up. And then I'm just going to cut these tabs out, this 1/2 inch. Just straight up that score line. Okay. And we'll do the same thing for the other side. So we'll cut that out, just to make the tabs for the pocket. All right, and then I'm just going to cut that straight up. Kind of trying to use the shadows so I can see what I'm doing. We're hosting Thanksgiving this year, which is awesome. I usually do Thanksgiving every year, and we do it a little bit different in my family. If you followed my channel, I think I have explained that before, but I will let you guys know. So we do a breakfast in our family, which is really nice because everybody comes over, and then they're able to go to in-laws and other places in the evening. So that's really fun, and then you don't end up having like 2 Thanksgiving dinners. So that's how we do it. So I folded my tabs in. We're going to fold this up. We're just making a very simple, straightforward pocket here. And you don't have to do the pocket on the front or the back, but I just really wanted to have a little pocket space in here. So, yeah, so I'm going to do a ham and not a turkey, and we're going to have an egg casserole, and we're going to have cinnamon bread, and you know, all the breakfast things. We're going to have mimosas and Bloody Marys, and it's going to be great. So it'll be really fun. So then I cut my pattern paper, and this one here is going to just pop right into that pocket. So again, oh, and I didn't cut it the right size. I didn't trim it properly. Hold on just a second. Let me do that. I need to trim it to 5 7/8. So yeah, that's more better. And then I'm just going to pop that into the pocket. So I'm putting it all the way down into the pocket. And the reason I'm doing that is just because, since this is going to be the cover of my, ooh, come on, glue, the cover of my book, back and front, I wanted to make sure that it was like as sturdy as I could make it, since I'm just using, you know, cardstock. I'm not using any chipboard or anything like that. So I'm going to do that. Let me find my, there it is, my little wipe. Okay, so inside the pocket here. So I'm just going to glue that onto my pockets. And then it's just a matter of punching and binding and then decorating. So it's really a simple thing to do. You could also, and you know, you can add to this because the rings that I chose, you can add to binder rings, or the bookbinder, you know, rings, you can add to those easily. Make sure I did that. Yep, I did that right. So you can add things into here. I might throw in a couple envelopes or something like that. That might be fun to do. Whatever you want in this would work great. Like I said, very customizable. You can do whatever you want. So the covers, again, you'll need 2 pieces that are 7 by 12 of artisan cardstock. And then the cardstock for just the divider pages are 6 by 9, and that is literally it. The pages to fit in are 5.5 by 8.5, so pretty standard. All right, so let me show you. That's how that's going to go. Let me show you how I punched my holes and how I measured everything. So I've had this binded off for quite a little while. You can tell it's pretty well loved and kind of dusty from the papers. So what I'm doing is I'm going to utilize the edge of my bind it all, and then you see these little black marks here. That is 1/4 of an inch in from the sides here. So what I did was I took, this is my kind of example here. So I'm going to use the edge of my machine to line up the cardstock for the dividers and the covers. And then this piece here represents my pages that I'm going to write on. You notice that they're a little bit smaller, okay? So they're only 8.5 instead of 9 inches tall. So there's 1/4 of an inch gap here, but I want to make sure that my holes, you know, of course, line up so that my book does, you know, line up right when I go to bind it. So the covers and the dividers, well, I'm going to put in, and I'm just doing it to the edge here. All right. And then I'm just going to punch, and I hope you can see this. Let me stand up so I can make sure you can see. So I'm just lining that up just right to the edge of my machine. Okay. I'm not going past the edge. I'm going right flush with the edge of my machine. Okay. You got to hold that down and then make sure everything's down, punch. Okay. And you have your first set of holes. Okay. And I'm going to go down. I'm just going to the other side, making sure that everything's lined up really nice. Okay, nice and flush. And punch. Okay, so that's how I did the dividers and then also the covers. So I'll go through that again real quick because we have this cover to do. I was supposed to punch this side because this was supposed to be the back side of my book. Can't have the rings here, you got to have the rings here because that was going to be the inside back cover. So we have a happy little mistake, I guess. Remember, these are just opportunities to kind of flip the protocol here and do whatever you want to do. So because of that, I still want to use it. I'm not going to waste it. So I'm going to add it into my book. I did cut some more papers, so I have some more papers. So I'll just have another section. So I went ahead and made another cover. So we're going to go through that one more time, and I'm going to do it the right way this time. I did punch this correctly. Okay, so this page here, I punched totally correctly. It's good to go. So let's go back to the bind it all. And again, for the covers and for the dividers, I'm just lining it up at the side of my machine. Okay. So this one is correct. It's going to go in the book. We need to do our papers. We'll do that in just a second. Let's do the cover and let's do it properly this time. Okay, so the cover pocket's going to go on the inside. This is going to be the outside. So I want this side punched. Okay, let's do it the right way this time. Okay, so We've got it in the right way. I don't think I hear anybody screaming at me out in YouTube land. So we're going to line it up to the edge of the punch. I'm going to hold that down. And again, I'm going to stand up just so I make sure that everything is good. And punch. Okay, got my holes. Now I'm going to go down to the bottom. This is where you're going to have all those layers. Okay, so you have 2 layers of the, well, actually 3 layers of the pattern paper, and you have a couple layers of cardstock we got to go through. So it's going to be a little bit tougher, but I'm just going to put that to the edge. And this is where you just got to make sure that you get that punched really nicely. Okay, so I'll get that out of the way so you can see. So I actually did punch properly for the back of the book. Now the pages are a little bit different because they are a little bit smaller. Okay, and this is where my little 1/4 inch marks come in. So when I put my papers in here, I want to make sure that they don't go to the edge like the covers and the dividers did. I'm going to put them right to that mark only so that they are, if you can see, 1/4 inch in, and then they'll line up with the holes of the covers and the dividers. So I'm going to put that in there, punch, and there we go. All right, so then I'm going to do it again on the other side, and I'm going to line it up to that 1/4 inch. Make sure everything's nice. And punch. Okay, so that is that. So that'll be the next section that goes in here. And you can see they line up, the holes line up really well. Okay, you see that? Okay. So then we just need to bind this. So let me grab my rings here. So I have 2 sets of my rings. Get them off of my example here. Okay. Now, if you want to do this like we do the coils, where you have, you know, kind of the rod part of the coils or these binder rings on the inside, then you're going to need to flip your cover and put it on the top, and then that will kind of put this on the inside. It'll make sense in just a second. Okay, so I've got, let me open these guys up. So I have 2 of them, and then we're just simply going to, there we go, put them through the holes. These do wiggle around a little bit. They're not really, they're wrapped around that rod, but they're not really fixed to the rod, so they have a little bit of movement, which is nice. Okay, and then I'm going to just keep adding my pieces until I get everything in. Okay. So there's my book bound, and as you can see, it works really nicely. And the pages flip really nicely. I'll just kind of go through here. So that's what it looks like so far. So anyways, what I'm going to do is decorate this, and then I'll come back. Here's our pocket page that we didn't kind of plan on, but hey, we got one. And so I'm going to go ahead and decorate this, and then I will be right back, and I'll show you what the final piece looks like. All right, I have decorated my journal, and I think it turned out super adorable. So let's go through and I'll show you what I did. So again, I'm designing this as not only a Thanksgiving kind of planner, but also it's going to be a memory journal as well. And I have places for photographs and things like that. So on the cover here, I did use the chipboard pieces that came with the ephemera pack down here, and I layered them like crazy on top of the paper. And then I used some of the wishing bubbles that I had gotten in the design team package and kind of sprinkled those around as well. Here is one of the chipboard tags with one of the chipboard banners on the top, says Gathered Together, and I thought it was a perfect title to this little journal. Added a little bit of twine from my stash. Now here, I wanted to put a little tassel or decoration or something, and so I made a tassel out of the seam binding that I've been using with this design team package. The orange I dyed myself, but the brown and the natural came from Country Craft Creations. So I just looped it through a large bore wooden bead that I had in my stash, and then I put a little glue in there to kind of secure it, tied a a twine bow around the base of it and just let that hang. And then I just have just a beautiful seam binding tassel. Through the top of the tassel, I just used another piece of the seam binding and then just tied it through the loop here so that when you open it up, the bead is out of the way for the journal. Okay, so then when you open this up, the first pocket here, I went through my stash and I had these paper clips that I thought matched the collection as far as colors go. So I just added that to the pocket and put one of the little die cut letters there. And then I had the tag and this library card still left from the ephemera papers. So I put that in the pocket. Now you can put all kinds of different stuff in here. You can put, you know, recipes, more pictures, all of that. Receipts if you want to. Here's the papers. And then on the front page here, the first kind of divider pocket, I just added a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 inch Summer Ivory frame, and then added one of the little chipboard pieces here that says, "Oh, happy day." And I did peel it apart to make it a little bit thinner here. Then when you turn the page on the back here, I have one full-size photo mat, which is 6 1/4 by 4 1/4, so that'll fit a nice picture. I layered one of the laser cuts and then one of the die cuts here, and then have another chipboard piece that I did thin out a little bit to put there. More paper. On this page here, I didn't add a photo mat, but I did add a paper clip and I put one of the letters there. You could paper clip anything, you know, of course, else you want on there. On the back, I put another large size photo mat. I layered a piece of the lace and a little strip, teeny tiny strip of the paper over top of that to kind of create a border. I added one of the little coupon pieces here that came in the ephemera piece. And then this is the other side of that paper clip. So I just decided to kind of tuck that under there as just a little accent. And then this is a little chipboard piece here that I did thin out again to put on the page. More of the papers to write on. Here is a photo page, 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 inch mat. And then this is one of the die cut pieces that I just glued on a couple sides to put that there. Then you turn the page. Here's the other pocket, this kind of extra pocket we created because I goofed. And then here is one of the die cut pieces. Here is another ticket with a paper clip. More pages here to write on, another photo mat, and this one here is again a chipboard piece that I thinned out. And then on the back here, another full-size photo mat, layered a couple pieces here on the bottom, and then this is the chipboard kind of frames that I thinned out, and then I mixed and matched the colors and put that on there. More paper to write on, and then you have your back cover here. And I took the photo mat or the Viewmaster piece and I put it on here. I cut a piece out for the middle and put the flower in the inside, and then you could put a photo here if you wanted to. And then here's one of the long tickets, and then I have another paper clip here with a couple of the little ticket pieces here. So that's my Thanksgiving journal. So I'm thinking, so one section was going to be for everybody that's coming to kind of write what they're thankful for, or leave a message or anything. We can take photographs, of course, throughout the day. I'm going to have a section here for the recipes that I'm using, just to keep as a keepsake. This is going to be a 1-year kind of journal. I suppose you could make it for several different years if you wanted to, but I'm kind of thinking it's going to be for 1 year. I'm going to have a section for like a to-do list for myself, which I need to get hot on because I haven't done anything yet. And Thanksgiving is next week. So, and then I've got, you know, like an area for, the guest list and all that stuff. So that's my Thanksgiving planner / journal / memory book that I'm making for this year. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. This paper is by 49 and Market. It is called ARToptions Spice, and it's absolutely beautiful. This can be adapted to any holiday you want or any occasion you want. And I was pretty excited to use these new rings that I've had in my stash actually for a long time, and I never did use them. But again, you could use binder rings, discs, anything you want to basically create this. You can bind this any way you want. I love how this tassel turned out with the bead on it. I just thought that was really cute. And I love the color of the seam bindings. I just think it's really a beautiful journal. So anyways, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, and I will see you again soon with more stuff. Have a great day. Stay crafty, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye.